I grew up in North York, but every day I'd take the bus and then the subway down to school, which was St. Michael's Choir School, which was right around the corner from Massey Hall. And I soon discovered that I could pretty much leave any classroom at any time of the day without any questions asked, and go down and play piano in the studios, whether it was actually time for my lesson or not. So I would do that quite often. With the choir, we did tours in the States, so I was on a bus and I was like, oh, I kind of got hooked on that, traveling and playing in different cities. It's interesting because I auditioned for university. I was all set to sort of go that route, and then the band I was in at the time, the Look People, was offered a tour, and my mother, she said, you better go talk to your Uncle Tom, he'll talk some sense into you. He said, Kevin, this is your dream, you should do this. School will still be there if you want to go, you know, you've got to get out there and experience this. So that's when I sort of hooked up with my cousin Harland Williams, because he was wanting to go into the comedy world. So Harland and I moved in together. I was working temp jobs at the time to make ends meet. I think the first time I was able to not do that was we were hired by the CBC to be the pit band on the Ralph Benmergui show. I remember, you know, jumping up in the street because, okay, I'm finally doing a job as a musician and I don't need a day job. And then I got a soundtrack gig for a show called Straight Up, and they didn't want a slick, experienced guy doing the soundtrack because the show was about teenagers. So they wanted someone young who was hungry and start doing this for the first time. So I got the gig, and they asked me to do the second season, by which time the Bare Naked Ladies had asked me to do a tour with them. That's sort of when I got on the tour bus and never got off. But the Bare Naked Ladies knew me because I'd been playing all the time and getting my name out there, and they'd seen me play. Years later, I met Lou Reed, and I became the leader of his live band and worked with him till the day he died. My first rehearsal with Lou, I was nervous, but I was playing it, and he put his hand on my shoulder and said, Kevin, congratulations, you know the record. I want to hear Kevin Hearn play it. And that was a huge lesson right there. I've been doing something over the last couple of years. I've been taking all my boxes of old cassettes and transferring them into Pro Tools before they deteriorate. And it's interesting to listen back, and a lot of it's embarrassing, but there's some of it that's like, oh yeah, there I'm finding my voice. And my sister, she's a chef, and she will tell you what kind of salt they used. Did they use butter or olive oil? I started doing that with records. What is it that they did that is working? Is the band playing live together? Are there many overdubs? Where did they record it? You know, that sort of thing. What made it special? And I think for someone starting, what can you learn from it to not necessarily copy it, but express what you're trying to express in your own voice? I have a daughter, Havana. She's 14 years old. Doesn't walk or talk, but I was thinking about how magical music is, because it's allowed us to connect in an amazing way. I will sit her on my lap at the piano, and she's just transfixed by what's happening when she hears it. And I'll take her hand and I say, okay, it's your turn to play. And it's such a huge deal for her. She gets all like, oh my God, and just one note is like a huge deal. So it's quite an amazing experience to connect with her that way. You know, I went through a whole health situation with cancer, and I learned about music in a whole new way. I learned about the healing qualities of music. And I began to feel it was sort of, I had the ability to take on that responsibility and provide that service for other people. And so I started making music with other people in mind.